Welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the finer things in life without going overboard. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. My name's Joanne, and every week I upload videos on luxury handbags and other lifestyle products to hopefully give you some really good, helpful information, or if you're just curious about these items. So I hope you join me on my journey to explore luxury brands and subscribe below, and also leave me a comment on what you'd like to see. For today's video, I kind of can't believe that I am filming this. So as you can see from my background and also the title of this video, I will be unboxing my very first Hermes bag, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I bought an Hermes bag. So let's jump into the unboxing first, because I can't wait to get my hands on this bag again, and then I'll explain how I got it and my experience in the store. So this is the giant box that the bag comes in, and I haven't unboxed it since I brought it home from the store, which was 2 days ago. And I already am missing the bag because I feel like, I haven't been able to try it on at home. So let's put this down. And this is the wrapping paper that it comes in. Then we have the dust bag here. Okay, so this is the top of the bag. And this is the lovely garden party that I picked up. And it's in the canvas with a black leather trim. And I believe that this is their military canvas, but I'm not 100% sure. As you can see, the front and the back are no different. The bottom is all leather, so no feet. And that's probably the only thing that I would wish to have on this bag. And then there's just a simple button, snap button closure. And then you have the buttons on the side, which you can open up. So there you go. This is in the 36 size, so that's the length of the bottom of the bag. Now let's get into how I came across this bag, the cost, and all of those details. In regards to the Garden Party Tote, I first saw this bag a couple years ago, and I knew that I loved it. I'm definitely a tote girl. I love the curves of the bag, so if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that I love it when the bag has like specific curves, whether it's on the side or on the front, because I feel like it makes the bag look very elegant. So every time I saw a picture of it, I just knew that I really appreciated it. So I've just been, looking at this bag passively. And recently I noticed that the Garden Party tote bag was off the Hermes website. So I got a little bit worried, thinking that they might be discontinuing it. So a couple weeks ago, I stopped into an Hermes boutique and I asked them, hey, do you know if this bag is being discontinued? And the sales associate there said, no, it's part of our permanent collection, so it should never be discontinued, but she didn't give any further explanation. So when I went into my local Hermes boutique for my Legend sandals, I thought, I'd ask them the same thing, and they actually had some garden parties on display. So I knew that I could probably, get a closer look and learn information about the Garden Party tote in stores, but not online. So I asked my sales associate, do you know any news about this bag and why it was taken off the Hermes website? So she said it was probably taken off the website because of stock issues. So maybe, due to this year's slowdown, they might not have as much stock. What stock they have, they probably do ship to their boutiques, so their boutiques can sell it, but not enough stock to sell on the website. And then I also asked my sales associate if they had any in the boutique that I could try on or just take a look at, because I was interested in the bag, but I wasn't really thinking of buying it yet. I just wanted to learn more about it, to try it on, and basically do my research and due diligence. So I went at the end of the day, so they were kind of already packing up all the display bags and were wiping everything down. So I did see a version of this bag with yellow leather, but I knew that I wouldn't want something so bright. So I asked if they had any more in the back, and she said, yes, actually they had this one. So she brought this one out to show me, and she asked me if I wanted like the normal size, which is the 36 size. She was like, oh, you probably don't want the mini, right? Which, they have smaller sizes, like the 30 centimeter size. And at this point, I didn't really know. Again, I'd never seen it in person or held it, so I didn't really know my size preference. So she just bought this one out to show me, and of course I loved it because I just love this bag in general. But that day I was prepared to go in for my sandals and not get a bag. So I said, let's go with the sandals today and let me think about this bag a little bit. So she offered to put this bag on hold for me, and I asked how long she could hold the bag for. And she didn't really tell me specifically. She was just like, oh, next week. So I said, sure, please put this bag on hold for me, because I planned on doing some more research and sleep on it to really decide if I wanted to purchase this bag. As with any luxury purchase, obviously you really have to think about, spending this much money. Is it really going to be worth it for you? So I went home that night and started researching this bag. I searched for reviews on YouTube, and I searched for the bag on pre-loved websites. And there is a ton of styles on pre-loved websites, and I was able to watch some reviews to understand, how is this bag going to age over time. So someone said that the canvas can get quite dirty, and that the leather also can get very soft. So those were some of the cons that I learned about and wanted to keep in mind to really understand if I wanted to take that risk with this bag. And then also, because there were so many options on the pre-loved website, and obviously they were at better prices, I did seriously consider if I should purchase it pre-loved or if I should go with the full-priced one in store. And in the end, I did decide that I wanted to try this particular bag for myself. So knowing that the leather can get very soft, knowing that the canvas could get dirty, this being my first Hermes bag and not having any experience with the Hermes quality or Hermes customer service, this is definitely a bag that I think is a good one for me to learn all of these things. So I called back earlier this week and I asked to make an appointment to pick up this bag. And at first, the sales associate who picked up was like, what bag are you talking about? Let me just check that we still have it. So I described, it was the Garden Party canvas with black leather trim. And she was like, oh, I can't believe this was held for so long, because it's quite a popular bag, especially in the black leather trim. I'm sure, it being a neutral, they could sell this one 10 times over. So she made sure that they still had it so I could go in and pick it up. And then when I arrived in the store, they first brought this out again for me to, hold and look at. And I, again, wanted to just learn more about the Garden Party bag. So I asked them more questions about, do you have this in a leather? Do you have it in different sizes? And they were very accommodating and helpful in answering all of my questions. So first they asked if I was looking for a neutral or anything like that, and I was like, I really have no idea. I'm not that familiar with all the different kinds of bags, and I have never tried on a leather one, so I don't know if I would love it or not. And this time when I went in, I could actually see more of the bags they had on display. So they had an all leather green one, blue one, and the agate color. And then they brought out a taupe in all leather for me to see. And then they also brought out a dark blue canvas with black leather trim one for me to try on. And they were super nice. They were like, you're allowed to change your mind. Just because they held this one for me doesn't mean that I had to get that if I liked any of these other options. So I was glad that they said that. I didn't feel too much pressure to have to buy this one that day. Because as they brought out the other leather ones for me to try on, it just made the decision much harder because I thought, all of them were beautiful. And I was especially attracted to the egret color, and I think it was in the Nagoda leather. But ultimately, as you can see, I settled on this one because I had already prepared myself on thinking about this canvas leather for like a week. And of course, this canvas version is much lighter than the all leather version. So after going back and forth for like 10 minutes, trying it on, taking photos, I texted my fiance and I asked him what his opinion was. I was like, help, you need to help me make this decision. Again, they were super nice in letting me take all the time I needed. She was like, oh, don't worry, continue to text if you need to. So I thought that was very gracious of them. And I made the decision to try the Hermes bag experience out with this bag specifically. So now that I've kind of just gone through the story of purchasing this bag, I also wanted to give some more information that I learned in general about these garden party bags. So first, let's start with the canvas versions. So this canvas version was $2,475. But in the US, with my tax in my state, the total came out to $2,666. The all leather version is $3,775. So that's a difference of $1,300, which I don't think is terrible. And I don't think either of these prices are like terribly overly expensive for being an Hermes bag. Again, me being such a fan of this bag, whether it's in leather or canvas, I didn't think that the $2,000 to $3,000 price point was bad for the size of this bag, especially when you compare it to the size of a Chanel Classic in the medium or jumbo size. Those are already way over, and the size is smaller. And then secondly, I did ask my sales associate, I heard that this bag gets dirty, like, can you tell me a little bit more about that? And she actually said that they coat the canvas so it shouldn't get too dirty. And she also mentioned that Hermes probably also offers to clean this bag when they didn't before. So I don't know if she was just trying to put my mind at ease. Obviously, I will have to wear the bag more and hopefully it won't get really dirty. Another concern that everyone says in the reviews is that the corners do get wear and tear, probably exacerbated by the fact that there's no feet on this bag. So I'm a person who definitely does not put my bag on the ground. I will hold it in one hand while I eat if I have to. And I take a lot of care in, if I travel with this bag, I will probably put something under it when, I have to slide it under the seat in front of me so it doesn't touch the ground directly. But I do want to avoid having the wear and tear show on the corners as much as possible. So I think I might spray some waterproof Carbon Pro on it, just on the corners, to see if first of all, it damages it at all, or if it can help protect it. And I did think about spraying the entire thing with Carbon Pro, but now that my sales associate said that the canvas part is coated, maybe I don't have to, but we will see how that wear and tear goes. And then the last thing about the canvas version is that it does not have a pocket inside. So the leather version does have one large zip pocket inside, but the canvas one is just one big black hole. And normally I don't mind that either. I'm not somebody who has to have a super organized bag. I can just have everything kind of tumble around in there. And I do want to avoid having to buy a bag liner for all of my bags. So I'm hoping that I will just be able to use this bag without a liner, and again, hoping that it won't become too messy or dirty inside. But after I try it out for a couple times, if I feel like I do need to have a liner, I'll probably purchase a really simple one with not a lot of pockets to just keep the capacity as big as possible. Okay, so then moving on to what I learned about the all leather version. I think the ones that they had in store for me to try on was the Nagoda leather. And my first thought on seeing the leather version up close was that the texture on it was much larger than I was used to seeing on bags. So it kind of reminded me of like an elephant skin, especially the agreed color that I was looking at. And when I asked my sales associate, I heard that these leather bags get very soft and slouchy. She said, yes, definitely in both of the kinds of leathers that they make the Garden Party tote in, they are both very durable, but they both also get very soft. That's definitely something that I have to keep in mind if that's something that I want, because as I mentioned in a previous video, I am not a huge fan of super slouchy bags. I feel like, when they fold in on themselves, it's really hard to stick your hand in and get to what you need because you have to like unfold everything. So I think eventually I will want to try out a leather bag, and it will probably be many years before the leather gets too slouchy. But again, I could buy a bag liner as kind of a hack to kind of stiffen the sides if that was to become a real problem for me. And the leather version is also definitely heavier. So when I held like the canvas in one hand and the leather in the other hand, there was a significant difference in the weight of the bags. And for me, I know that I definitely care about having as light a bag as possible, because if I were to stuff it full with a laptop and a bunch of other stuff, I hate carrying really heavy bags for long periods of time. So that's another reason why I wanted to start out with this canvas version. In terms of the different sizes of the Garden Party, like I said, I've only ever tried on the 36 size because my boutique didn't have a 30 size for me to try on. I was a little bit concerned about the size of the 36 because I think it can look a little bit big, and that's why I did want to try on a size 30 to see if that was a better size for me. But then I was worried that the 36 would be a little too small. So for example, if I wanted to put my laptop in this bag, it would fit great, but it wouldn't really fit in a size 30. And also, I really appreciate the fact that I can fit this size 36 on my shoulder. And it's pretty tight already, whereas I probably would not be able to get the size 30 on my shoulder. And having the versatility of that in this larger size is definitely a plus for me. And then the last thing that my sales associate did mention is that she does suggest that when I store this bag for long periods of time, if I'm not going to use it, for example, like if I'm not going to use it for the winter, that I do store it with the sides unbuttoned. So unbutton the sides, because she said that when it is buttoned up for long periods of time, this leather part will probably, crease pretty bad, and it will look like there's a crack in the leather. So just to help the leather stay uncreased as long as possible. Okay, so now just some closing thoughts on the Garden Party bag. I've heard a lot of people say that it's a good starter bag or a good entry-level bag for an Hermes if you want to start your Hermes collection. Again, the price point is really good. It still has that Hermes craftsmanship, and it's much more available than the Birkin. And I think my local boutique was probably a little bit better stocked than some other boutiques too. So that's why they had so many options for me to try out. But for me personally, I don't consider this like a starter bag, because I kind of already think it's the ultimate beautiful bag. Like, other than the fact that it doesn't have feet, I find this bag absolutely perfect and gorgeous, and I will probably add more of this bag to my collection in the future, just because there are so many options to explore. Again, more canvas options, more leather options, and I just find all of them so beautiful. So I am so happy to, get my hands on this and try it out with different outfits, and hopefully it will work really well with my lifestyle, as I hope it will. Again, it's kind of like an experiment for me, never having an Hermes bag before. So I do plan on giving an update maybe after I've used it for a long time, to see, what my feedback is, the pros and cons of it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was both entertaining and also informative and helpful, with me sharing what I learned from my sales associates about all the questions I bombarded them with. And please let me know if you have any experience with Hermes bags, with the Garden Party tote, or if you have any questions specifically about this bag. I would be happy to answer them as much as I can. And also remember to subscribe if you like more content like this. Thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!